Well,
You're
hello,
so
and welcome
nice.
back to Earp Con. I am your moderator, Drisa, and I am here with two beautiful, incredible, talented, and exceptional women, but they're off camera. So we have Danny Kind and Savannah Basley. Just kidding. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, that was very nice of you to say.
Oh,
Thank you.
very nice of you to both to be here. I'm really excited for this panel. I can already tell by what happened just off before we went live that this is going to devolve into a show, and I'm very excited for the chaos. You guys have never been on screen together on the show, but that doesn't matter. I'm here to walk you through this first date. I'm going to make sure that you guys have a good time, and hopefully you both want to see each other again.
Yeah, I brought a full body condom just to be super safe, and I'm very excited.
Yes,
Times of COVID, man. You can't be too careful.
Gotta be safe. Gotta be safe. People are gonna come out of this COVID thing so horny. I'm telling you.
There's gonna be so many babies
and so many STDs. That's what's gonna happen.
Only the single people. If you're married, you haven't had sex in months.
Oh.
Like really true.
What's
really
the point
true.
of anything?
Really true.
That's
wow. Because it's been around too much. You're like, oh,
I just said that. Yeah. All right.
Let me miss you.
So let's yeah. Give me a chance to not hate you by always being here.
Yeah.
Facts be facts. All right. So Danny, may I call you Danny, or do you go by your middle name fucking?
Oh, that's so nice. I think fucking has now turned into sucking.
Oh.
Danny sucking kind now that I am a vampire. But you know what? Whatever comes out of your mouth, I'm going to support. You.
Wow. Yeah. That's the attitude we like in the Earper community. Let me tell you. So I was gonna ask a different question first for you, but I have to be unprofessional because of what you just did on Twitter. I hope everybody knows what you just did on Twitter.
What did you do on Twitter, Danny?
I don't know. What did
I'm
I
about
do?
to tell you what you just did.
What?
So I was gonna be professional, but then you had to tweet, and I quote, "I'd love to get slapped by you. Earpers, you're hilarious." End quote. At Earp Con. So
And
I'm assuming that one of your one-on-ones was very interesting. Please tell me about it, all about it in detail.
We were talking about the upcoming season of Working Moms that's going on Netflix in June. And the lovely Earper that I was talking to said, I've tried to avoid Twitter and any spoilers, but I did see that Kat gets slapped. Did she get slapped by you? Who did she get slapped by? And then she said, I would love to get slapped by you. And I was like, what? Then she got very embarrassed that it came out of her mouth.
Honestly, that's a mood.
It's a mood.
It's a vibe.
I mean,
why not?
People have feelings and thoughts, and they are allowed that. I mean, I have nothing else to say. I'm not going to comment any further because I'm repping Earp Con, but maybe we can talk offline after.
I mean, there's tons of people who are like, I want to get punched by Conor McGregor. So
I want to get punched by Conor McGregor. That's not even sexy. That just would hurt.
That would, right? But I mean, there are people who are like, yeah, I just want to get slapped by her. I'd get slapped by you, Danny.
Thank you so much. I would not. Your face is beautiful. I would not touch it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know better.
Just avoid the nose.
I'm not sure if I should ask any questions or just let you guys talk. This is working for me.
So sorry.
All right. So, Danny, for realsies, you and Kat have played by far the most different versions of yourselves on the show. Do you have a favorite version of Mercedes? If so, which one and why?
So I think that, when I first started playing her, I didn't really know much about her. And then after she gets her face ripped off, I call her Mercedes 2.0 because she's almost like a drag queen version of herself. She just like ups her game so hard because she got her life back, her face back. And I think having that much freedom, the show and the directors really gave me a lot of freedom to play with her and be big and bold. And she's completely far from me. I don't wear clothes like that. I don't talk like that. I don't, all of those things. And yet. Oh,
it
thanks.
Works. You're so incredible.
Nice.
And you have a fierceness about you that just like leaps off screen. And I think actually that's why Savannah, you're with her on this panel, because I think there's a lot of parallels in how you both come off as characters.
If I had an ounce of what Savannah had, I would be in another category of acting. Because whenever you're on screen, I'm like, oh God.
So that was, yeah, they're both just such fun characters to play. And it's really true. Like what Danny said, they really do give you the room to just explore the character fully. And just, when you're allowed to do that, the things that come out are sometimes like quite hilarious and quite, just like really like big and kind of different than what you would be like on a regular basis. Getting the permission, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you guys are speaking of permission and your ability to kind of make the character what you want, how much of your characters are coming from the writing pages, or how much are you kind of imbuing yourself as you decide who this character is over an arc?
Sorry, who's that for?
Either of you.
Either.
Well, for me personally, I find that like I went through just 2 years of acting school, and there was a lot of things that they would tools that they would give us to be able to reach our characters. And for me, I don't know why I never really was able to connect fully with what they were saying, but because I'm someone who's very into mental health and mental health awareness, I find that if I can kind of get into the headspace more in that way of my character, like, you know, like for example, in drama school, they'll say like, what's their big goal, or like, what's the thing that drives them type of thing. And I don't know why that didn't always click, but it's more so like, what was Cleo's trauma? What is it that triggers her? What is it that, you know, what was it that made her who she is in a way? But like I said, like it's kind of like, you know, that it's kind of like I'm assuming Cleo just had a rough childhood, when the fact that like so everything she did was to get herself out of where she was. So that was kind of like where I find that I was able to get into the character's mind so that way. So if I was stuck in that position and I felt those feelings, what would that make me act out, and how would I act out in that way? And then that's kind of just where her sassiness comes in. I kind of like figured like she would, you know, kind of humor as like a way of protecting herself. So sometimes when she was quite big and really like sassy and rude, it was really just because she was really scared and nervous in that moment, and she felt vulnerable. So she projected that outwards, which I definitely don't do it myself.
Yeah, me neither.
Not at all.
No.
Danny, anything to add for that?
About me connecting with my character? I mean, half the time I didn't know what I was talking about because I don't get the script in between. So when, you know, I remember being on set one day and being like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And them running me through like, oh, in the episode before, this is what happened. So I would just try to get into my body more than the storyline. And I feel like my body holds a lot of impulses for me. I remember that scene that I was doing with Mel at the kitchen table, and with the vampire thing, it just came out. And then a couple takes in, I think I got a little self-conscious and I stopped doing it and I tried doing something else. And then Paulo came over and was like, hey, I like the thing, put it back in. And I was like, great. You know, it's just trying shit. It's just like, and it's the most beautiful set because they give you, so like Savannah said, they give you so much freedom to just try. And the writers are so hilarious and amazing that I just got to get on the train and ride it. That's all I can do as an actor on that set.
That's how I felt of my first day. I filmed episode 3 my first day, and there was like a lot of me like trying to get into, well, at that moment there wasn't really any like deep in that episode. I didn't have to quite be as like character driven, but it was the episode with the water gun and the t-shirt gun, and I'm sitting there being like, what am I on?
Yeah.
but I like loved it at the same time, because usually you're trying to be like so serious and like trying to like not point out the fact that like you're staring at a tennis ball, like that's supposed to be like a monster or something. Do you know what I mean? Like it's that moment where you're trying to be serious, and it was so great because for once I could be like, this is a shit show and I love it.
Did you already know, since 4-3 was your debut, your first day of filming, did you already know your character's arc, or did you learn that as the season progressed?
I learned that as the season progressed.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. So you had to kind of start off like really sassy and classy and kind of devolve into like this vulnerable, vengeance seeking Like how was that for you?
Yeah, so that's, yeah, because like I was quite that was my first introduction to her, really, was the chili cook-off scene.
For
And
freedom.
for
You can't,
freedom.
thank you.
For freedom.
Okay.
Yeah, that was so fun to get to film that whole, yeah, that section. Yeah, so in that episode, because she was in front of the town, I kind of wanted her to be bigger than life and not really show everybody that she was putting on a face, but kind of just like, what is
What is
happening
her
here?
deal, right?
Yeah, what
Make
is her
everybody
deal?
wonder, and everybody did.
Exactly. And then when I got to the episode where we were around the table, that was like the family dinner scene. That was, it's a very intense scene, but to be honest, it was probably one of my most enjoyable scenes I've ever filmed.
Really?
Because everyone was so in it. Like, even from rehearsal, I remember he was like, we should have filmed that. Okay, so we're in it. And because it was just like we all gave each other something, like, even if like we weren't on camera and it, like, the camera was on Halt or on Ma'am, we were giving it full, like, everything, because it really was an opportunity to reach into those characters. And that scene, I think, is where I really learned that she was quite vulnerable, and like she was she just really wanted her mother's love. That, at the end of the day, Cleo is someone who just really wanted her mother's love, and she wasn't getting that. And so she would do anything in her power to get that from her, but it also made her extremely angry that she had to fight so hard to get that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was kind of where it kind of clicked, for me, at least, that Cleo is really just a vulnerable, kind of like broken person who's really just acting out.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
no one can blame her, honestly. I mean, that's the great thing about the show. Even people who are supposed to be the villains, have so much weight to them, and so much to analyze and consider as far as their perspectives, right? I think Kat Burrell said at one some kind of podcast, the villains are the heroes of their own story, right? And everybody
Exactly.
from that
A villain
perspective,
they don't know that they're being, like, they don't know that they're being evil. Like, they don't mean to be. They're just trying to
do what they got to do.
Do what they got to do to, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so for them, even though it may seem evil to everybody else, to them, it's like, I'm just trying to survive at the end of the day.
Great answer. Thank you. All
you.
right, Danny, I'm gonna turn on its head a little bit for this next question. There's a rumor going around that Mercedes missed the Way Hot wedding because she was on a date with Kate, learning how to be a vampire. Do you confirm or deny? And what do you think they would do on their first date?
I made a comment about them making out and having lots of orgasms. I still haven't heard from Chantel Riley about this. But she did. Would she post an emoji or something, which was very vague? So I don't know her feelings on this still to this day.
You guys need to get your story straight.
I know. I feel very like I'm attacking her at this point, sexually, inappropriately, and I don't mean to, Chantel. God, why wasn't she there? Guys, I was so sad that I wasn't at that wedding. I'm just going to say that. I was in my trailer on lunch hour. They do script readings for the next episode. So the cast grabs all their food really fast and goes to all of their trailers, and everyone gets on Zoom and they do a table read, and then we go back to shoot. And I could hear Varun beside me in his trailer reading the script, and I didn't have the script, but I could hear how emotional it was. And I was in the trailer just being like, what's happening? Oh my God. And I was so emotional watching it, and watching the names on the chair. Fuck you guys. Like, that was just such a beautiful tribute. It was amazing. What were they doing? In my mind, they were making out. I mean, Kate's been a vampire longer than Mercedes. She needs a mentor in all of the ways. Wink, wink.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that answer. Thank you.
Annie seems like she would be like your vampire seems like you would be like Mercedes seems like she would thrive in like a True Blood club. You know, like one of the clubs from True Blood. Like she would love that.
Yeah, agreed. I back that.
Love that for her. All right, Savannah. Now that Billy has been de-reaped, as it were, and is the only other Clanton left, do you think Cleo would ever come back to town to see her baby bro as a grown man? Or is her sense of self-preservation and quite honestly trauma too great for her to ever return?
No, she would return.
Yeah,
she would definitely come back. Yes. I think like I said, she's a very sensitive soul at the end of the day. So I think she would definitely want to come back to see her brother. Now, I mean, she might come back and start some shit and then be like, okay, bye. But she would definitely come back and see her brother, if not just to like make a mess and be like, I cleaned up all of your shit, time to clean up mine.
Roll out. Oh, I love it.
Roll out. Yep. But yeah, I could definitely see her coming back, and also just to prove everybody wrong. Like she's like, I've still got it.
Yeah,
and I'm doing great things. In case
she definitely seems to be someone who would be motivated by like spite.
Yes, she's a very exactly spiteful person, like petty AF. Should have petty, like a gold like necklace. Petty.
Petty. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, next one's for Danny. So Mercedes is the last gardener and now an immortal, and she has a lot of unlife to live. I'd love for you to picture her like 100 years after the end of season 4. What do you hope for her as a character in terms of her learning and growing? Or is she like exactly the same in 100 years, just like owning everyone?
I mean, I think she's an owner of all things for sure, but I think that she's grown so much since just being on the show for having a lot of shitty things happen to her. I mean, that's one of the
we don't talk about
things.
Enough. She's got a lot of trauma too. Damn, Emily, what are you doing to us?
But I mean, that's one of the greatest things about that show is like the growth that all of those characters have, the villains, the heroes, all of the characters, the love, like it's like a deep and also comical look at it. Like the way they handle heavy topics on that show is pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
In my mind, she's has her own, I mean, I think she has like a serious fucking vampire gang. And I think that she has her own clothing line.
You walk around like this.
Like, yeah. She's just like a mouthful of blood all the time, having all the sex and wearing all the clothes. I think she's just like
living her best on life.
Exactly. But like the clothes for her is so massive. I think that's what's happening.
Maybe she's got like her own like line, like her own like company that is now like number one. Yeah. Oh, Savannah, you just did that. Bloodline. Fics are being written as we speak. So
Emily.
All right, Savannah, this one's for you. I was a little creepy and I took a stroll through your Insta. And I noticed you posted a very lovely pic of you wearing a Buffy the Vampire Slayer t-shirt. One of my favorite shows of all time. Are you a fan of Buffy or do you just have exceptional taste in t-shirts?
I am a huge fan of Buffy. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was my show when I was younger. Like I'm talking like, well, my sister's 4 years older than me. And so when Buffy first came out, I mean, we were both a little bit young for it, but whatever. And so we watched it all the time. And it was like, it was our show. Like I loved that show so much. And then when it came back on, when they started replaying it, because I couldn't find all of the box sets, like I still wasn't into like buying like box sets at the time. And so Much Music was replaying them when I was in high school. My friend Megan will never let me live this down. So we're going out to rugby practice. And I'm thinking, and like at the time we still had like one of those things where like you could like I didn't have DVR, so like you had to like record on the VCR.
Oh yeah, I recall.
But our pre-recording settings were broken, so you had to like be there when it and manually do it. So I'm going out to rugby practice and I have my like little flip phone. It's like a pink brick, and so I'm running out to rugby practice and I'm like, oh crap! So I flip it open and I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, don't forget to record Buffy. And she's like, I won't. And I turn around and my friend Megan was like, okay. So she like always tells me like, Mom, don't forget to record Buffy. Like it's like something she'll just like send me randomly. But that was, oh my gosh, the episode, like I was still like for the longest time traumatized by the levitating men. I can't remember that. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know you're talking about the guys who didn't talk. Hush.
Yeah, where like the princess episode where she finds out, and the episode where they were in the children in the hospital. I did not want to go to a hospital for the longest time. I was like, I'm not spending the night because I'm going to get eaten by the creepy children's ward demon thing. Like I was seriously
you
like,
might have been a little too young.
a little bit. But I loved it so much. So, but then
Awesome.
it was also because one of my babysitters showed me the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie as well.
Oh,
so then
yes.
Yeah, she probably introduced me
Iconic.
to some older things. Yeah.
That's what they're there for, like get you into bad crap and then get you out of
it. Exactly.
This next question I have for you it's a combined question, all right? And it's from Twitter. Purgatory Archaeological Survey at Purgatory Archeo asks, Cleo and Mercedes didn't have a chance to interact on camera, but assuming one isn't trying to actively kill an Earp or a Clanton, do you think Cleo and Mercedes would actually get along or clash or both? Discuss.
Ooh.
What do you think, Danny?
I think we would get along because I think Mercedes has a real love of women. And the fact that that her and Winona could grow up in the same town and be so vastly different, but find each other, I think that she is like really like pro woman. She's a woman's woman. And so I think that she would probably cling to you and give you some attitude and shit like that and give you the gears. But I think she would like you a lot.
I agree with that. I think, I think Cleo would just love to have friends, even if she was like, oh, she's so annoying. Kind of like Regina and her friends. Like it would be that thing where like, you're so annoying, but like, I love her.
Well, I love you so much.
Yeah.
But she's like my best friend. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think we would probably have a few drinks. Definitely at Shorty's.
Hashtag drinks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'd like each other. Swap clothes.
All right. This next question is for both of you. Thinking back to your time on Winona Earp, do you have a special moment or day that sticks out to you? Something that remains vivid even now? Either a specific scene or time spent with the cast and crew outside of production?
Yes, very vivid. Going to set, I wasn't filming that day, but I went into the hair and makeup trailer to like talk to them. And Mel was in there getting processed to go to set. And we were I hadn't seen her in so long, and we were just catching up. And in the middle of our conversation, she was like, oh, dude, I have something to show you. And she just lifted up her sweatshirt and showed me her baby bump. And I wept. It just caught me so off guard. I cried and I was like, Melanie. And then seeing her shoot every single day, going to work and seeing her pregnant shooting was just a fucking phenomenal thing that I hope is not a once in a lifetime thing that happens in my career. I hope I get to see many women pregnant on set, but it's a rare thing it's a scary, rare thing. And so I'll never forget it. It meant the world to me. It was
Great
very
answer,
cool.
Danny. Wow.
That's really cool. Such a Mel thing to say too. Dude,
I know.
It's Mel thing to do.
Dude. I know.
Right? Like, just like, dude, I've got something to show you. I'm preggers. Like I love that.
Dude, this is not tacos. It's a baby.
It's a baby. I did that.
How about you, Savannah?
For me personally, let's see. There's a lot of days that stick out. I mean, for me, I mean, there was in particular, I'm thinking of the day that a lot of things come to mind for like the first day that I was filming, because that was also the first episode Mel directed, and just seeing how excited, like, because I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know these people. I hadn't met them all before. I hadn't been on like part of the family. So just seeing how supportive this entire like set and crew was, it was really nice to see. And it was kind of one of those moments that like, also relaxed me, because I was like, oh, these people, like, they care, and they also, they're just a very like giving group, and it, you know, like they're all just very like nice and good peoples, so it felt like I couldn't fail. And that was also, you know, that was the thing where like if they weren't going to let Mel fail, then they wouldn't let me fail either, because clearly they want this to be like a good thing. So it was like a very like and also like a
Relief.
oh
Yeah.
and it
I felt like that too when I went to set for my first day. I felt super nervous because, you know, it's not my set. I feel like I'm a guest in somebody's home, but like the way that they host the actors that come on that show is like next level.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was kind of like, especially when I would have like a question, or like if I thought like because I, you know, starting out, you kind of don't always know what to say. And like, the more that you are on sets and the more that you act, the more you feel comfortable about exploring your characters and discussing that with a writer or a producer. And so it was also like a thing where I kind of wanted to ask questions and kind of put my input on the character. And I was nervous at first, but the way that they were like, what do you think? What's your opinion? And genuinely were like, oh, I like that. Like, that's a good, like, that's, you know, like
it wasn't artifice. It was real.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, wow, this is really nice. Like they care like what I have to say, which is really nice.
Oh, that's a great question, if I do say so myself, to end on, because unfortunately we have come to the end of our time together. I would like to thank our ASL interpreter, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Danny and Savannah, thank you so much for answering Earp questions and for your attendance throughout this weekend. Danny, feel free to tweet out any other daddy dammy comments you get in your one-on-ones. You have a very receptive audience, so keep them coming if you'd like to.
Thanks for hosting. You crushed it. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
You guys are, and thanks for everything you've been doing for us. Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you
Bye.
so much.